How's it going, everybody? This is Dustin with Team Conti Sim Performance with a track tutorial for Bristol. This is 25 Season 3 Week 13, wrapping up Season 3 here at Bristol. Big shout out and thank you to Dillon Pettus for this race run replay that we will be analyzing. Um, Appreciate all the hard work and help that all of our team ambassadors put into developing and improving these setups week in, week out. And a big thanks to Dillon for taking the time to save this 30 lap run for me to share here in this video. We'll go ahead and get right at it. Check volume here. There we go. So this run is done at race pace, kind of conditioning the tires to have good long run pace. Excuse me. The race setup can fire off and hit a 4. Um, Usually around 6 or 7 is your hot lap this time around, if you were just to be pushing it. You notice Dillon's approach over that bump into 1 here. He's out of the throttle before he gets to it, and then he's dragging a little brake over it. I've noticed that if you're in one pedal or the other at that banking transition where the bottom really falls out of the truck, and it's more severe into 1 than it is into 3, seems like anyway. Um, as long as you've got some pedal in it, whether it be the left one or the right one, it just seems to handle that transition a little better. So Dillon dragging a little bit of brake at that point really helps keep that truck stable, keeps it wrapped around that yellow line. But at max load, he is out of both pedals, letting it roll, and that does a lot to save tire. You could really blast the entry to the corner and just rip your right front off, and then you've got to park it in the center to get it to rotate or hold the bottom. That, or you're just going to be too tight center exit with a bunch of wheel in it, and then you come out of the banking in the straightaway and it'll get real light in the rear if you have too much wheel. So how you enter the corner here sets you up for the rest of that end of the racetrack. Passes are made, say it, everybody on the bottom, everybody in line on the bottom, your passes are going to be made by getting a better drive off than, more often than driving it in harder than the guy in front of you. So keep that in mind. The cost to your tires and to your long run speed, if you overdrive entry, is greater than the short-term benefit that it might give you for, 5 to 10 laps earlier on. So really take care of it. You should be solid. Completing lap 12 here. Lap times are just hanging right there around the 14.6 and 7s. Not a lot of fall off this week. I think in a 40 lap run we were seeing roughly half a second in 40 laps per lap. So not a lot of fall off. It is a shorter track and a high-speed track, so a half a second is a big difference, or it's a big difference from a hot lap when you're talking, a 14.5-second lap. So separation less likely than it would be if there was more fall off, but again, You know, if we're falling off half a second, somebody else is falling off 8/10, then those 3/10 a lap are going to make a big difference. Notice Dillon's able to be very aggressive on his throttle, but even though he can be aggressive, he's not just slapping it to the floor. It's a steady, quick roll in, and just keeping the rear of the truck planted and driving off the corner. It's been a very strong, consistent run. Looks great, Dillon. Thank you. Everybody watching, be sure to thank Dillon. What a great guy. Trouble spots you're going to want to look for this week. I'm thinking you're going to see most self spins out of 4 or into 1. I have talked about the top, and well, I talked about it in the Q video, and I'll mention it here. The gearing here this time around, as was in season 2, since the rescan, they didn't give us a taller gear. So to run the top here, if you run the top here, you'll be hitting the chip at the start finish line or midway down the straightaway. So you lose all the pull, all the gain, the momentum that you really generate by running the top. And where there's not a lot of fall off, that continues to be the case even late run. It's not like pace falls off so far that you can run the top now and, you know, late run and not be up against the chip halfway down the straightaway and losing all that speed. So where your top speed is maxed by, is limited, I should say, by where that chip is, you may as well run the shorter distance around the track, especially considering after a 40 lap run, we're still in the high 80s on tire wear. So not a lot of tire wear, really no reason to stress leaving the bottom. Those who do won't really do much more than overheat their tires or heat them beyond where we are because of the added time, added distance through the corner that they're taking. And if anybody has any questions about that, please feel free to shoot me a DM. I'm happy to explain the logic behind that if I didn't explain it well enough here. Alright, starting lap 30. You notice the rears kind of stepped just a little bit a couple times on him, but it really hasn't changed how aggressive he can be with the throttle on exit. So keep that in mind. It's if you have any issues with it trying to step on exit, it's very, very line dependent. So keep an eye on that. Resort back to the video if you find that you're having a lot of those issues. Wheel input and the speed you carry through the center. All of those have play a big part in whether or not the truck's going to want to step on exit under throttle. Use the resources. Use G61 and this video. All you need, reach out to us. I'm sure Dillon would be happy to comment or answer any questions you may have. So feel free to reach out to him too. Hope he doesn't hold it against me that I offered him up like that. Again, I appreciate the help of all of the team and the ambassadors, and you as our customer base. We thank you for choosing us, and please feel free to reach out if you have any concerns, anything you feel that we can improve on the setups for you or tune on it for you. if I have the availability, I'll do it myself. Otherwise, I will give you the um, recommended adjustments that I would make to fit what you may be feeling. Um, this isn't just a buy a setup and race it, and if it's on, go win races. If it's not, have a rough week or take it off. We want to improve week in, week out, and throughout the weeks. So please take advantage of the services we provide, and we wish you the best of luck. Thanks again for choosing us, and we will catch you guys next week.